got the chance to talk to some Muslims in the Valley about COVID-19 and how it affected them, their families, and the community. So one thing to note is that there's about 25 Muslim families here in the Valley, which gives us about 75 to 100 Muslims altogether, man, women, and children. And the mosques not only served as a place of worship and praying to God, but also as a place where they can come together, have a dialogue, have some food, and just really be among friends. Another thing to note is that this last month that just finished was the holy month of Ramadan for Muslims. What this means is that in this month, Muslims do the most worship as much as they can, as far as coming closer to God in this month. So the fact that, you know, the mosques were closed and Muslims couldn't, you know, do that worship in the mosque, really religiously felt that they were coming short and that they were not fulfilling their obligations to God as best as they can. This was very difficult. For many of them, this was the first time that this has happened in their whole life, and it was just a very difficult and challenging month for them. Another thing to note is that the weekly sermon that's giving and the weekly prayer on Friday is when Muslims would usually come together around 1 o'clock. There would be a sermon. They would have some food, and they would just pretty much have a dialogue and hang out. That was also discontinued because of COVID-19 and to keep the community safe. As to compensate for that, what the locals in the mosque did was they would have a Zoom sermon, I guess. They would have like a Zoom sermon for about 20 minutes, just so that they can at least get that weekly reminder about God and worship God. But a lot of comments that I did get from interviewing them and just talking to different people was that, you know, they felt like something was missing. You know, it wasn't the real deal. Many of them were never used to this form of worship through Zoom, and it just didn't feel right, and it didn't feel legit, as to say. As far as those weekly sermons was concerned, is that not only was it for the Muslims in the community, but many times different people from different backgrounds would come, some invited, and a lot of times it was just pretty much open invitation. They would come, some of them would meet Muslims for the first time, some of them would talk to Muslims for the first time, ask different questions, and just really learn more about the Muslims that live here in the Valley. So that was also discontinued for the last 3 months. And not only that, but even when the food would be offered around 1:30, once the lecture was done, sometimes different homeless that are strolling by, they would also come and they would also have a bite to eat. Moving forward, as far as reopening is concerned, plans for reopening are being discussed about one, but there's going to be some changes definitely as far as the 6 feet apart, and people just wearing masks here in the mosque. One thing that I would like to mention is that if you've ever seen a Muslim pray in the mosque, it's really touchy, right? It's really cozy, shoulder to shoulder, everybody's real tight together, a lot of brotherhood and a lot of love. But with COVID-19 and the 6 feet apart, it's just going to be very different. It's going to be very awkward for everybody. That same level of love won't be there, just because everybody's so far apart. Everybody in the back of their mind is, thinking to themselves, oh, is this person sick? Maybe they might be sick, maybe they're not. So I'll share with you right now what I mean by this. So there's tapes on the floor, as you can see, telling